Hello Codebase family, today we are going to build a Python text-to-speech app with Python and Tkinter. So let us take a look at a finished version of what we are about to build. It is made up of a text area where we can type some text and two buttons at the bottom. One for reading in a male voice and the other for reading in female voice. Let us click on the button.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Okay, that was the voice for male, and then let's...
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Okay, so let us change our text to
Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a little lamb.
This is what we are going to build, so if you are excited about it as I am, let us get into Python and write it from scratch. Here inside Python, we are going to make a few imports. So of course, we use the Tkinter library. So from Tkinter, import. And we want to import Tk. We will also import text. We need it for the text box. We also import frame. We also import button. And then we will import another library we call PyTT. So import PyTT-SX3, and that is what we will use for our text-to-speech. So what we do is to first initialize the speech engine. So we call an engine, and then we set it equal to pyttx3.init. And then we continue to build our UI. But first of all, let's declare a font variable here. We will use it later in our code and you understand why. So font being a tuple, and I will use the Open Sans. Of course, you can use any font of your choice, but I will choose the Open Sans. Now set the value to be 13, and then the weight also to be bold. App equal to then tk, and then of course we need the app.mainLoop function to be able to see it on the screen. So app.mainLoop. This is a basic window we created. So when you run it, you see that we have a model import error, no model named pyttx3. So what we want to do is to come down to this part where we see Python, the Python version we are using, and then we can click on it and choose interpreter settings. Here at the interpreter settings, we can click on this plus icon here and then type the name of the library we want to install. So pyttx3. Yes, this is the one we are looking for, and then we click on install package. Now we see that pyttx3 is installed successfully, so we can close out of this and then also close out of this. Then let us run our code again. Okay, Python is indexing still, but let us run it from the top. We see a small window up here. It is a blank window, so we are now about to fill it with some widgets. In here, I'll declare to, okay, before that, let's give some other things to our app. So app.title, and the title will be text to speech. Then app, let's also define the geometry also of the app. So the geometry will be for 500 by 400, and let's position it at 400 and 150. Let us set the resizable option to false for both ends so that the user will not be able to resize it. So resizable or to false for the X, and then also false for the Y. And let us build our frame. So frames, and here we build a main frame, which will be a frame. Oh, sorry, if I can type well today. So a main frame, and then which will be just a frame inside app, and then we will pack it there. So main frame dot pack. I just realized that I've made a mistake in the main frame. Afterwards, we declare two frames. One is the top frame, so the top frame, which will be also a frame, but this time around it will be inside the main frame. And then we will pack this one also, so top frame dot pack. And we clear the bottom frame also, so the bottom frame, which will also be inside the main frame, and then we pack this one also, so bottom frame dot pack. Let's minimize this one to get some space here. Okay, now let's build our UI. We first build a test area. Of course, we don't really need much of it, it's just one of it. So test area, and then we set it equal to a test. That is the box that will open up and help us to type some text inside. Test is, and then we give the height. Now we first declare the place we want to put it. We want to put it inside the top frame, so top frame here, and then we declare height also of 17 for now. Then let us pack the test area dot pack. But we want it to fill the whole of X. We gave only a height, but we want it to fill the whole of X, so we have to give a fill value of X. That means fill the whole of the X, and then we also have to give some padding also to it. So the padding in X direction, let's give it 5, and then let's give the padding also in the Y direction 5. And then we have to also build our buttons also. So we put those ones in the button frame. Our first button will be mail _ btn. That is the one that will speak in the mail voice. We set the width. Of course, it will be a button, and then it will be inside the button frame. We will set the width of this button to be 15, and then we will set the height also to be 2. And then we will set the font of it, the font of the button to be font. That is the font variable we declared up here. And then we will also set the font of the test area also. So let us set the font here also to be equal to font, the font we declared up there. Now that we've done it this way, we can now pack our mail button. So mail button dot pack. And then the side will be equal to left. We don't want it to pack it the normal top to bottom way. We want to pack this one side to the left, so that the female button will come to the right side of it. So side of this one will be left. And then we declare another one also for the female button, which I will just do by duplicating this line. And then change it to female. And then this place also to female. But we didn't also declare a very important thing here. So the text here should be, the text on the button should be, in this case, male. And then the text here should be female. Now let us run our app and see. Okay, we have our app here ready. We can type something in here, then we see it. So what is left for us to do is to convert this text here to speech using the engine we created above. Let us come up before the UI starts. Let's declare our functions here. So the function that will do the job for us, the conversion for us, so functions. And then we want to declare a function, say speak. So define speak. That will be the name of the function. For now, it will not take any arguments. And then what we do here is we we have already initialized the engine, so we set some engine properties. First property that we set is the rate of speech. So how fast the engine will be speaking, and let's declare rate first. So rate of speech. Oh, why is this thing? Okay. Rate of speech, so we declare rate to be equal to engine dot, then we want to set the rate property. So engine dot set property. And then which property do we want to set? We want to set the rate of speech to hot. And for now, let's choose 120 for now. You can choose any number, but let me choose 120 for now. And we also want to set the volume of speech, so the volume. And the volume also, volume equals to engine dot set property. And the property we want to set here is the volume property. So volume. And then it's how the volume works is it treats the volume as a range between 0 and 1. So 0 being the minimum and then 1 being the maximum. So any float in between will do the job, or even 0 and 1 themselves. I'll put 0.8 in for now. That means I want 80% of the volume to come. And then what we do next is to set the voice also. So the voices, the type of voice that will speak, whether it be a male voice or a female voice. That one we select the voices, we call the voices that are in there, then we select the one that we want. So voices here, go to engine dot get property, and we want to get voices. And then we set the property as we have done for the other two, engine dot set property. What we want to set is the voices, not voices, but voice this time around. We want to set the voice, and in here we tap into these voices that we have accessed from TTSS3 itself. So voices, and then we use indexing, of course, to get whichever one that we want. So the 0 is for the male, and then when we change this 0 to 1, we get a female voice. Now that we have declared all these properties of the engine, what we are left to do is actually speak the word out. That is why we do it by, let's see, convert text to speech, and we have to get the what we want it to say. So call it words, and then that will be whatever is inside the text area. So it will be text area dot get, and we want to get it from 1.0, which is the first position, to the end. So whatever starts, whatever is in the text area, we want to get it and then store it in this words variable. And then we go like engine dot say. What the engine has to say is words. So that is what we have gotten from the test area. We also have to declare engine dot run and wait to keep the current one in the loop. And then we also have to stop it after it is done. It has to also stop. So engine dot stop afterwards. And so this is all we need to convert the text to speech. Let us connect it to our mail button first, and then we'll see how it goes. So let me bring that one to the next line. Command here will be equal to, then we call the speak function without the open and close brackets. Let us run it and see whether it will work for us. So in here I'll type hello and then click on the mail button.
Hello.
Okay, our text to speech is working. All we need to do is to work on the female voice, and then we are done. But instead of declaring another function for the female voice, what we can do here is to actually declare a parameter here like voice ID. So this parameter will be voice ID, and then we access the voice ID from this side. Instead of using voices, we use the voice ID that we want here, voice ID. And then we can, before we can pass parameters into this function here, we don't have to put the open and close bracket there, but if you still want to do it, we have to use the lambda expression in Python. So lambda, give a colon here, and then in here we can pass the ID. So this ID that we pass here will now be sent to the function up here, and then will be used in place of this one, and then we can access it. So for the male, the ID was 0, and then we can do the same for female also. So let me bring that one to the next line. So command here will also be lambda, and then speak, and then the voice ID here will be 1. So let us run our code and see.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so our text to speech app is up and running, and you can work around the speed by increasing or decreasing the rate here, and also the volume also. But if you also want to go ahead and then save this speech, whatever that has been said, to a file, I will not do that, but I'll type it here how to do it. In case you want to save the speech, you can, let's make this place save to file, or save speech to file, whatever. Here you have to just say engine dot save to file, and then you do two things here: what you want to save to the file, and then the file name itself. So what we want to save to file is words, what we have just set up there, and then we declare the file name here, maybe audio.mp3. When you do it this way, this of course will save it just in that directory you're working in, but if you want it in another directory, you have to put the full path here, and then after it saves it, it will save it to the file for you, so you can record it and then use it for whatever you want to do. So that'll be all for this video. If you want the link to the code that I have here, it will be in the description in the GitHub account. You can go there and then download it, and then if you want to do any comparisons, you can do. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you with another interesting application.